Hi, welcome to Multigen Law, Shut Down American Credit Acceptance. My name is Joshua Crampton, and I'm going to be doing a presentation to walk you through the history of American Credit Acceptance, the founders, where the money came from to start the organization. I'm going to be going through some data about the company itself. And if you found this video and you found our website, chances are you are a victim of American Credit Acceptance. I hope that this video gives you some clarity about what's going on and how you ended up in this situation. The first thing that I can tell you if you're a victim of American Credit Acceptance is to take heart. You have been professionally duped. The American Credit Acceptance system has been professionally designed by lawyers in order to legally violate. I know it doesn't make sense, but it to legally violate federal and state statutes all across the country. These people are smart, and they did design a system that allows them to violate state and local laws and federal laws while protecting themselves from criminal investigation. Now, the things that American Credit Acceptance does are criminal. It is called civil conspiracy. It's the same thing that you would hear about if you researched Enron, where the founders of Enron or the executives of Enron were basically robbing investors and cheating them. Well, American Credit Acceptance is a corporation that was created about 12 to 13 years ago. Its entire business model is designed to be a scam. Now, what you need to know is that 85% of every loan that American Credit Acceptance gives out is repossessed. They designed their business model for you to default. They make the majority of their profits if your car is repossessed, not if you pay off the car. Now, the civil conspiracy side is very hard to pin a criminal investigation from a civil matter. Now, because American Credit Acceptance deals in contract law, that is the realm that they deal in. It's contract law. And because it's contract law, it's very hard to convert that into a criminal investigation. American Credit Acceptance has been sued all over the country. They settled a $98 million lawsuit in California, where what they did is they ran a marketing program to veterans, and I'll explain why here in a second, to veterans, where they sold about $11,000 to $12,000 cars in this marketing program. They then illegally repossessed all of the cars. They then auctioned those cars. They lied about the amount that they auctioned the cars for. And then they garnished the wages of all those 11,000 to 12,000 veterans in California, destroying the credit of all of those veterans. They were caught and they settled for $98 million, where they agreed to relieve all of the debt on the veterans and also remove the marks off of the credit reports of the victims. So American Credit Acceptance does this all over the country. They are masters at fraud. They are masters at scams. And they have many, 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 many lawyers on payroll that unfortunately know what they're doing and help them do it. Now, I know that you feel like you're about this big and that there's no way out of this situation. I hope to, through Shut Down American Credit Acceptance, help you gain your power back. Now, I always say this in all of our videos. I'm not a lawyer. And because I'm not a lawyer, we're not bound by the laws and regulations that lawyers are bound by. I'm not allowed to give you legal advice. We can, however, tell you all of the other things that other victims have done to protect themselves in these situations. The outline for you, if you're a victim of American Credit Acceptance, is to first and foremost, if your car's been repossessed or you're still in your vehicle, is to file disputes with your banking institution to try to get temporary provisional credit back on every payment and the deposit that you've ever paid them for the vehicle, and then use that money to go buy another vehicle in cash so that you have a vehicle with a title, and then go file lawsuits against the car dealership that sold you the car, They'd find out who, but the tow truck company that repossessed the car, and then file the lawsuit against American Credit Acceptance yourself, where you can then enter arbitration, where the contract that you signed with them demands that you have a right to arbitration. And then we can arbitrate for you at Multigen Law to try to get you all of your money back, or any of the money back that you didn't already get from the bank. So that is the general outline that we teach for you to protect yourselves. You do not want to get your car back. You do not want to stay in the car. You do not want to stay in the loan. Okay. Now I'm going to share my screen here in a second, and we're going to dive in and take a historical look at the founders of this company, and you can see how scammy and how evil they actually are. All right. So first of all, let's go to our website, and let's take a look at that. All right. Now, here's our website, and at the bottom of this website, you're going to see a submission form where you need to fill out the submission form here to contact us. Now, when you fill out this form and contact us, we're going to do a few things. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a video testimonial. And if you don't want to be on video, then we'll just do audio, but we'll do a recorded testimonial so that we can get you on file. Second thing is you'll sign a form, and our service is free. So this isn't going to cost you any money to work with us. The second thing that you'll do is you'll sign our form to enter into a class action, where we are building a class action with a law firm against American Credit Acceptance. And it doesn't matter what state you're in the United States, you can join our class action. This third thing that we'll do is offer you free guidance. Again, we're not a law firm. We can't give you legal advice, but we can guide you in explaining what other people have done to protect themselves, what other victims have done. Okay, so those three things will happen when you fill out this form. So let's go over the system that American Credit Acceptance has built with car dealerships and tow truck companies. Now, this is what you call civil conspiracy. It's where a corporation like American Credit Acceptance devises an illegal plan to give out illegal loans and make victims of the American public. When they partner with other entities like tow truck companies or car dealerships, it's now three people working in one, and it's called civil conspiracy. It is a civil matter. That's why it's called civil conspiracy and not criminal conspiracy. There is a chance, and what we're fighting for is to get Jason Bynum and a few of the other leaders of this company put in jail. And that means that we need to cross the line from it being a civil matter to a criminal matter. Now, this happens in our country. There are many corporations in our history where we were able to arrest the founders. Matter of fact, one of the guys in the Enron situation committed suicide in prison. That is the fate that we want for Jason Bynum and the rest of his posse. These guys, these are the evil guys. You got Amar Singh. He's the president of the company. You got Jason Bynum. Now, Jason is who we're trying to get arrested. We're trying to get him arrested right now for civil conspiracy and have him put in jail. Hopefully, he'll commit suicide. We want death or we want jail for these people. We will not stop until they're dead or in jail. And we hope that most of these guys will just kill themselves instead of be here on our planet, because they're intentionally evil. These guys are masters at deception. You got John McDermott. Look at him. He looks like a prick. He's a senior director. You've got Johnny Wren. You got George Hunter. I've got a lawsuit against George Hunter personally. We're going to trial next month. We got Bill Shoemaker. These are the major players. Jason Bynum is paid more than $3 million a year. If you do the math on that, he's making He makes more than $250,000 a month. If you divide that by 30, Jason Bynum, this guy, he makes $9,000 a week. If you wonder why your car is being repossessed and you're wondering why you're in this situation, it's because this guy alone makes almost $9,000 a week. If you divide that by 7, this guy's making more than $1,000 a day. This guy makes more than $1,000 a day to run this scam. All right. We don't know the salaries of John McDermott, Amar Singh, or the rest of these clowns, but we have identified some data about them. We have a private investigator that's investigating where these guys live. We're looking for their private homes. One of the things that we're going to be doing is doing letter mail-outs, where we mail out a letter that looks like a legal letter like this. We mail out a legal letter to his neighbors. Like if we can figure out the neighborhood that Jason Bynum, Amar Singh, John McDermott, George Hunter, Johnny Wren, Bill Shoemaker, if we can find out the residential neighborhoods that they live in, then we can do a lettered mail out where it's like a legal letter to all of the people in their neighborhoods, warning them of who their neighbors are and how evil these men are. So we intend on doing mass mailouts to these guys' personal neighborhoods and doing things like that to personally attack them, letting their neighbors and their communities know how evil they are. We've identified a few lawyers. There's more lawyers than this, but we've identified some lawyers. Now, when a lawyer does the state bar and they and get their license, they take an oath. And that oath is to protect righteousness and protect justice. When a lawyer like Patrick Lynch or his assistant Janice Townsend of Dallas, Texas, when these guys take the cases of American Credit Acceptance, they know that they're violating ethics. They also know they're violating laws. The thing is that American Credit Acceptance scams 100% of their victims, and they know that only 2 to 3% of their victims have the wherewithal to actually fight them. Are you a lawyer? Do you know how to file a lawsuit? Do you know about the state and federal statutes? Do you know how to defend yourself? No, you don't. So in order to fight them in law, you have to hire a lawyer. That costs $3,000 to $5,000, oftentimes $10,000. Because this is a corporate lawsuit that you would be filing against them, if you were to truly fight them, most lawyers are going to charge you a $5,000 deposit in order to take the case. American Credit Acceptance knows that none of their victims have that kind of money. They target specific individuals that don't have extra income so that their victims can't fight them back. And this is why we built Shut Down American Credit Acceptance, to give you a voice, to give you some power. If we can show you what other victims have done to file lawsuits, to fight them, to get their money back, then we can arm their victims to fight them back. Now, Patrick Lynch is in Dallas, Texas. All I can say is that these men have traded their ethics for money. And these are the kinds of men who will destroy our society. They will destroy the credit worthiness of all of our American citizens. And men like this, we're trying to get a picture of Janice Townsend, his assistant. But we want to put these people on blast, man. We want to put these people on blast because they're evil people, right? So let's go back to the scam and how it works. So in the scam, they have over 2,500 car dealerships that they work with. They have training programs that they give to the dealerships in order to teach the dealerships how to lock you into an illegal loan. They train the salesmen to tell you that they've ran your credit across many banks and that no bank will finance you other than American Credit Acceptance. That's the first part of the scam. Now, I'm not going to go through this in totality because I want you to come read this on your own. But the first thing, we'll go over this section before we move on. First thing is the victim comes into the dealership to buy a car. Once the victim finds a car they like and want to buy, the sales staff are trained to drag out the process, putting the victim under duress. What that means is that it only takes about 15 minutes for the finance manager to get a response back from American Credit Acceptance on the loan. But they make you sit in the dealership for 3 to 4 hours as they act like they're working very hard to get you funded when they're not. Second, the sales staff are trained to come back after making this is the second part. The sales staff are trained to come back after making the victim wait hours upon hours and tell the victim that they sent their loan to many, many banks and American Credit Acceptance was the only one that gave them an approval. This is the second lie. Now, most of the victims that we've worked with, when they went back and checked their credit, they found out that there was only one hit on their credit from American Credit Acceptance. There wasn't 10 to 15 other banks. So that's how you can verify that you've been scammed, is that if the salesperson at the dealership tells you that nobody else will finance you and they've ran your credit by multiple other banks, there's a record of that on your credit report. And you can prove that they locked you into an illegal loan, which is called violation of truth in lending laws, where they did not give you the truth about an ordeal when they locked you into a loan. That's a violation of truth in lending laws. And this is a script that they teach dealerships, guys. They teach this to dealerships. Third, the victim is instructed that it's a 24% interest rate or more, and that after 6 to 8 months, they can refinance and get into a lower vehicle, a better vehicle with a lower interest rate. However, the fourth section is that the sales managers have already added $3,000 to $5,000 on top of the sticker price and the Kelley Blue Book value of the vehicle. And that $3,000 to $5,000 that they added to the loan causes you to be trapped into the vehicle to where 6 months, or a year and a half later, or even 2 years later, you can't sell the vehicle to a private party because you're upside down, and you also can't trade in the vehicle. Therefore, you're trapped in the vehicle. That's what they want. Fifth, the victim is told that there are some finance charges to go along with the loan, but it is not a big deal, and reassures the victim that if they pay it on time for 6 to 9 months, they can refinance it easily with a much lower interest rate. This is a lie. They give an additional commission to car dealerships that sell their loans. So it's called a violation of referral. I'm trying to recall it. There's a kickback law. It's basically a violation of a kickback law. So basically, they're giving an additional commission to the car dealership for particularly selling their loan versus other banks. Sixth, the victim is told that it's going to be the same at any dealership they go because they ran their deal across many, many banks when in fact they only sent the loan to American Credit Acceptance. All right, so let's go over this note. Since the victim has taken a loan for a used car that is already 3 to 5 years old, the car was already marked at the top of Kelley Blue Book price, and the sales manager tacked on a $3,000 to $5,000 fee. None of the money the victim pays for the first 2 years will go towards principal in any way. And 8 to 9 months, when they go to trade in the car or refinance it, there's no option to trade it in or refinance the vehicle. Since the victim is stuck in a predatory car loan with a vehicle that they can't get rid of, they typically stop making payments. This is what American Credit Acceptance wants to happen and what they bank on. Then they immediately repossess the car and they auction it. Then they put the entire amount of the loan on the victim's credit report and garnish their wages. The garnishment of wages is the goal of American Credit Acceptance. They target school teachers. They target first responders. They target police officers. They target military men and veterans. They target people with Social Security so that they can garnish your wages. 90% of the revenue made from this company is from garnished wages. They're basically forcing the government to garnish your wages. This is their intention. Our mission is to, here at American Credit Acceptance, our mission is to collect as many complaints, testimonies, and examples of this intentional fraud of the American people in order to file our own class action lawsuit in Texas, as well as get criminal proceedings against the core managers of American Credit Acceptance and get them put in jail. So this is our website. The contact us form for you to fill out is at the bottom right here. We're pretty quick to get back with you. Our service is completely free. You'll sign up to be a part of our class action. We'll give you guidance regarding what other victims have done. Again, we can't give you legal advice. We're not lawyers. And we'll help you file lawsuits on your own against them. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over a document that goes over the history of American credit acceptance, who founded it, where it came from, and how it started. All right. So you should be seeing this document that says at the top, when good men fail to stand up and fight, evil men abound. So this is from a lawsuit that I've actually filed against American credit acceptance. All right, so here's some historical background. We have a $3 billion company who has lawsuits for violations of truth in lending laws across the country. They've been convicted of consumer fraud, civil conspiracy with tow truck drivers, civil conspiracy with car dealerships, violation of repossession laws, violation of interest and usury rate laws, misappropriation of funds, violation of fair credit reporting laws, UADP laws, deceptive trade practices, abuses of process, and many other laws. These are the things that these people do every single day. In 2021, in a California court, they settled for $98 million where they were caught defrauding almost 11,000 veterans out of their vehicles. You can look up the case history. Here's the case, the docket numbers right here. Here's an excerpt from the lawsuit. ACA violated California's Reese-Levering Automotive Sales Finance Act with insufficient written notices. Then the company allegedly assessed deficiency balances on customer accounts based on these notices, resulting in credit reports. The court ordered plaintiffs to arbitrate their claims outside of court, a process that started in 2020. ACA has not admitted any wrongdoing, but agreed to forgive over $98 million in deficiency balances as part of the arbitration settlement. Under the terms of the settlement, around 8,500 accounts with deficiency balances will be wiped clean. As a result, ACA will no longer try to collect on these accounts. So it was 8,500 accounts, not 11,000. But what they did is they ran a marketing campaign going towards veterans. They then repossessed 8,500 of these cars illegally, and they settled for $98 million and agreed to wipe everybody clean and give them their money back. So they were caught because the laws in California are different than other laws in the United States. So this is, I think, one of 3 of these kinds of lawsuits that have happened. Now, I also want to let you know about the Michigan State Attorney General's office. There's an associate up there named Chad Mayfield. He's who you need to get into communication with if you're a victim of American credit acceptance. Chad Mayfield is heading up an investigation where they have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of accounts already, where the Michigan State Attorney General office is working to file a class action against American credit acceptance to shut them down. So the United States State Attorney General knows what they're doing. They have an investigation going on and are trying to shut them down. They have over 450 BBB complaints, and they're all about the exact same thing. I just want to note here that Letitia James of the New York Attorney General's office has brought a civil lawsuit against another company called Credit Acceptance, who has the exact same business model. So it's good to see that the United States is working to shut down these kinds of companies. It is found from publicly posted revenue and tax data that 90% of the yearly annual revenue of American credit acceptance comes directly from garnished wages. It is found that 80% of every car loan that they give out is repossessed. It is found from publicly posted data that the marketing regimes specifically target veterans, first responders, school teachers, and Americans who have salaries that can easily be garnished. Now, here's a list of all the programs and protocols given to dealerships. And they have secret training protocols that they give to dealerships, telling the victims that there's no other options. They have training programs for car dealerships. They have training programs for purchasing agents. The car buyers for the dealerships, and I'm highlighting the sections that I'm reading so you can follow along. The car buyers for the dealerships are taught to buy cars with 80 to 100,000 miles that are considered luxury cars, knowing that the low credit individuals would want nicer vehicles, and these cars are then marked up an additional $3,000 to $5,000 on top of KBP and sticker price, causing the person to permanently be upside down in the vehicle. This predatory, look, this whole scheme from the top bottom has been designed to scam. So if you are a victim of them, you just need to know that you're a victim. They do this on purpose. They work with car dealerships. They know what they're doing. Eventually, they'll be shut down. Intentionally causing client to be upside down in the loan. Since the victim has taken a loan for a used car, I'm going to keep highlighting the sections I'm reading. Since the victim has taken a loan for a used car that is already 3 to 5 years old, and the car was already marked at the top of Kelley Blue Book price, and the sales manager tacked on $3,000 to $5,000 of additional fees, and none of the money the victim pays for the first 2 years will go towards principal in any way. In 8 to 9 months, when they go to trade in the car or refinance it, they will be stuck in the predatory loan. All right. I'm going to stop sharing for just a second because I want to make sure you guys are seeing this. All right. Intending and intention to repossess the vehicle. All right. Let's go over this. Might be easier just to highlight this. Shoot. All right. This is what American Credit Acceptance wants. They bank on the fact that you will get repossessed. Then they immediately repossess your car and auction it. Then they put the entire amount of the loan on your credit and garnish your wages. This is what they hope to do. This is their intention. So if you are a victim of them, just know that this is their intention. The end game is garnished wages. Again, I'll highlight this one in green, that 80% of the total annual revenue of American Credit Acceptance is garnished wages. They bank on their unserviceable loans and intend on their clients to fail, destroying the creditworthiness of their clients and garnishing the wages. This is why they target mainly veterans and first responders. All right, so let's go over some historical background and a summary in brief of the founders of this organization, and let's discuss who they are. I'm going to continue to highlight the sections that I'm reading so that you don't get lost. We are going to talk about Mr. George Johnson. He is now dead. His son, George Johnson Jr., is who started American Credit Acceptance. Now, George Johnson began his career establishing a slew of predatory-based corporations. One of them was called Advance America. Advance America was a predatory payday loan company. They had locations all across the country. And what they did is they gave out predatory payday loans. The history of this family goes back more than 40 to 50 years of being in the predatory loan business. Now, one of the things that I'll tell you about Jason Bynum and his family and his parents are that Um, Jason Bynum, I'll scroll down so you can see this guy. Jason Bynum comes from a family who has a rich history of financial fraud. Now, Jason Bynum's parents, they currently run and operate a predatory mortgage business. I have personally spoken to Jason's mom. I personally called her and talked to her. And Jason's Bynum's parents, they run and have ran for all of his history and all of their lives predatory loan companies. What they do in mortgages, the Bynums, what they do is they put you in a predatory mortgage where your house is then foreclosed on. So Jason has been raised in a family that he has grown up in, watching his mom and dad learn how to run predatory loan companies. That's why Jason Bynum is the CEO of this company. He's been there for more than 15 years. He's only been the CEO for the past 3 to 4 years, I think. Again, I'm not sure exactly about all these facts, but I do know that he was recently promoted to be the CEO. The reason why is he has a lifelong history, including his mom and dad, of being a predatory loan person. That's how they make their money. These are the kinds of citizens that, if we could get rid of, we would all be way better. All right, let's go back to our document and learn some more about the history. All right, so like father, like son, we find George Johnson Jr. following in the footsteps of his father. He created American Credit Acceptance in 2007. This is a relatively young company. This company is not a 30-year-old company. Now, whenever a billion-dollar family, and the Johnson family is a billion-dollar family, when they create a scam like this, they know that it's not going to last 15 to 20 to 30 years. Their objective is to protect themselves from criminal investigation while making as much profit as humanly possible until the system is shut down. When they started Advance America, it didn't run very long before it was shut down. They run these scams over and over and over and over again in different facets and in different businesses and different business names, whether it's mortgages or car loans or payday loans. These families do this. This is what they do. They funded American Credit Acceptance from the Johnson Group and the Johnson Associates. Now, what they do is they take the cash that they earn. This is this section. They take the cash that they earn from American Credit Acceptance. They cash flow it into Johnson Associates, where they purchase real estate to protect their wealth. So this Ponzi scheme, this scheme of American Credit Acceptance and the scheme of Advance America is where they created their wealth, and then they invested in real estate to protect their wealth. George Johnson's son, George Johnson Jr., concocted the idea of, I'm going to highlight this, bypassing the need to collect monthly payments from victims, and initiated the use of 3 corporations that would work in tandem to intentionally violate truth in lending laws, usury laws, conspiracy laws, and violate UDAAP laws, among many other crimes, which we will showcase throughout this document. The scheme provided a way for him to sell a car, then repo the car, then resell the car again at an auction, and then turn around and garnish the wages of the victims. It's a simple ABCD format. They hired lawyers to help them set up the system so that they couldn't criminally be investigated. The current CEO of American Credit Acceptance is Jason Bynum. I had a conversation with Jason Bynum's wife. I talked to Jason Bynum's wife, and I talked to Jason Bynum's mother-in-law. Now, this blonde lady, this pretty blonde lady back here, that's his ex-wife. I had a long conversation with her, and I had a conversation with her mother-in-law, and she confirmed the evil, vindictiveness, and the pettiness of Jason Bynum. And she divorced him after only 3 years and wants nothing to do with it. Both her and her mother testified to how evil Jason Bynum is. Let's go back to our document. The current CEO of American Credit Acceptance is Jason Bynum. He has a long family history in selling predatory products, which is why we believe he was appointed to his post. Jason Bynum's mother and father, Mr. and Mrs. Bynum, own and operate a predatory mortgage business, which they claim to have had for over 50 years. When we researched family history and business models, we concluded that Mr. and Mrs. Bynum are currently operating a fraudulent and intentionally harmful mortgage product service, and which has more than 80% fail rate leading to foreclosures. We find the same thread of predatory practices sown throughout the familial history of Jason Bynum and the Johnson families, which will continue until the American court systems makes them stop. So let's go over the 1, 2s, and 3s. His business model is composed of a loan company in which was actually a debt collection company, American Credit Acceptance. First and foremost, American Credit Acceptance advertises that they're a bank and that they're a loan company. They are not. They are a debt collection company. That's a violation of, I believe, a truth in advertising or something like that. A capital fund to hold money collected from the debt collection company, Johnson Group. And finally, a real estate company used to buy land to protect and hide the cash flow illegally created by this debt collection scheme. We state here that American Credit Acceptance was founded and funded by the Johnson Group. All right. So let's go over some historical background and a summary brief here. The Johnson Group. The group was formed together by George Johnson and his brother Stuart in 1974. We note that the chronological establishment was first the Johnson Group in 1974. The second establishment was the Johnson Development Group, the real estate company, in 1986. And finally, American Credit Acceptance in 2007. Privately held funds from the Johnson Group funded Johnson Associates in 1986. And George Johnson took private funds from the Johnson Group to invest it and fund American Credit Acceptance. This is the chronological order. All right, so this is a screenshot from their website. You can see how it's all interconnected. You see here Advance America. I had told you about that. Advance America is another predatory loan company attached to American Credit Acceptance. What they've done is they've created illegal Ponzi schemes to give out illegal loans and then invest the money into real estate. That is the game that they're playing. All right. Let's go over Johnson Associates, the real estate investing arm of the scam, where they invest the blood money collected from American Credit Acceptance into unassociated real estate to protect their wealth. When and if American Credit Acceptance is ever shut down, they will still have their wealth in real estate. We believe the founder, Mr. Johnson Jr., knew his Ponzi scheme could not survive forever. To protect his illegitimate wealth, he concocted the idea to invest the profits into unassociated real estate to protect the wealth once his Ponzi scheme was found out and shut down. Unfortunately, this Ponzi scheme has grown beyond imagination and has affected millions of Americans. Again, we like to point out that they target school teachers, they target first responders and veterans. They target people that can get their wages garnished. You'll see here that these companies are owned by each other. It's a big Ponzi scheme. American Credit Acceptance is the front-facing organization which is legitimately a debt collection agency. ACA, let's read this section. ACA has a dedicated team of more than 1,000 associates. It is accredited with the Better Business Bureau and provides financing to consumers in all 50 states. They have more than 450 negative complaints inside of the Better Business Bureau. Every time you get on the phone with any of their call agents, you'll find out that they're from Africa and the Philippines. It's one big company fronting as if they were three independent companies. All right, so we're going to stop sharing here. I'm done with this presentation. All right. If you've watched this video up until this point, I hope that you can gain some understanding about this company and who they are, what they do for a living, why they're doing it, and why is it that you've been involved with them. Chances are you wanted to purchase a vehicle, you went up to a dealership, and you were just roped into this scam, and now your car is being repossessed and you don't know what to do. I can tell you that thousands and thousands of other victims have experienced the same thing as you. And there is a way out of this. There is a way to get your money back. And eventually, the American public will get the founders and the managers of American Credit Acceptance shut down and potentially put in jail. Please fill out the form on our website that I showed you so that we can help you. We want you to join our class action. We want you to file your own lawsuits against them. And we want to get your testimony so that your testimony can give faith and encouragement to many, many other victims. I think that it's really sad that there's human beings on this planet that are in such a low vibrational tone that they would concoct business ideas like this in order to hurt people, in order to get rich. But that is the world that we live in. And as I started this video, the quote is, when good men don't stand up and fight, evil men will prevail. So you have an obligation as an American citizen to fight this company, to not let them get away with what they've done. I'm telling you now, you have to fight, and we'll help you do it. My name's Joshua Crampton. I love what we're doing here. Multigen Law is working to find more and more and more predatory corporations out there in order to help shut them down. And I hope you've learned something from this video. And Jason and George Hunter and Johnson Jr., we're coming after you. Stay tuned.